How do you go from bankruptcy and a $13 an hour police job to running an award-winning exterior company with 600 plus 5-star reviews? In this episode, Jimmy Fazekas shares his raw journey from failure to redemption and how mastering the numbers, building a team-first culture, and leveraging AI and automation helped him scale Bluewater Exteriors. Jimmy's a second-generation contractor who bought his dad's business at 20. Lost it all in 2010 and came back swinging in 2017 with Bluewater Exteriors. Today, he runs a company with in-house employees and a relentless focus on profitability. Known for his humility and resilience, Jimmy leads with values, putting his team first, pricing for long-term stability, and mentoring younger contractors on how to avoid dumb taxes and bad hires. Whether you're in a rut or ready to scale the right way, this episode delivers battle-tested advice from someone who's been through it all. Let's go all in with Jimmy Fazekas of Bluewater Exteriors. Welcome to the Roofing Success Podcast. I'm Jim Aline, and I'm here to bring you insights from top leaders in the roofing industry to help you grow and scale your roofing business. Jimmy Fazekas, Bluewater Exteriors. How are you, man?
Hey, brother. How you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. This is awesome. Glad to have you on. It's you have a great story in roofing, building a company down there on the Gulf Coast. Tell us how you got started in roofing.
So my dad pretty much started in the New Jersey area back in the early 70s, actually late 60s, early 70s, roofing and siding, and then bought a gutter machine, of course, and ended up moving it down to Alabama in the 70s. I was born in 76, and so he moved to Alabama in 76, and he met my mom here. And so in 76, the company was born, called Bob and Bob B&B. And when I was 13, I started helping him in the summertime. Needed money to buy my Air Jordans. Back then, they were popular. I think in 89, they were like $125, those Air Jordans. So I bought my Air Jordans with my own money and loved making money. And then he said, if you want to get your car, you got to work, blah, blah, blah. So I worked at the school co-op, got out, at 11, helped him paint some gutters or whatnot. Then we ended up in 1996. He said, I'm retiring. You can either buy the business or somebody else is going to buy it. So I had to grow up at 20 years old. I bought the company from him. My granddad had already passed, and started running a company at 20, got married at 20, and had a child at 20. So I had to grow up real fast at 20 years old in 1990.
That's a big year.
That was
a big year.
Big year. I learned a lot, got in the growth of, he was only doing like $110,000 a year in revenue. He's kind of burned out, ready to retire, and I 10 times the company in 5 years roughly. We started getting more employees, never subcontractors, always employees, W-2s. And so started growing from there. Economy got rough in 2008. I was leveraged on new construction. A lot of contractors couldn't hold on. 2010, I filed bankruptcy, ended up losing my house, foreclosure, divorce, and had to change gears for a couple years and get into law enforcement for 5 years and realized I was tired of being broke, making $13.25 an hour. So I jumped back into the home improvement industry in 2017 at Bluewater Exteriors. So we're 8 years old this year, and just rocking and rolling.
And it's there's no linear path up. Right. There's always the bumps and bruises that come along with it.
A lot of bumps and bruises. And that's what makes you stronger, really, and really realize what you want out of life and how you're really going to treat your business and your teammates at work too.
What were some of those? What were some of the best lessons that you received from those bumps and bruises?
the number one lesson really in business for anybody, no matter what kind of business you're in, is you have to know your numbers. You have to be dialed in on knowing your gross profit, your net profit, your marketing dollar spend, and track all that. If you don't know that, you're just running blind. It's like flying a plane without gas, or without gauges. You don't know if you're going to run out of gas or where you're headed. So anybody that doesn't run a business without looking at their numbers it's scary. It's scary. So that's number one. Two, don't overspend. I overspent my whole life. I'd buy, just because I made a little bit of money, I'd start buying big houses and boats and living in a better neighborhood and all this to try to keep up with the Joneses. And that's totally backwards. Put that money back in your business and invest and grow your business, because you're going to get more money in return from growing your business than you are from having that boat or that house. So that's the top two things I would think would be the best for any entrepreneur.
Yeah, man, that don't overspend really came into play there in 2008 for me too. We were both born in the wonderful year of 1976. So, it was a great time. A lot of great people born that year. And but we also maybe when we were born there was a little bit of hard-headedness, and we're like, oh, let's just spend all this money. And then everything was nice going through the 90s and into the .com boom, and then bam, boy, that went away quick. So that, if with the lesson that you learned then, if you had reallocated your funds from that boat into something else, into the business, it probably would have been a smoother ride. What were some of the other lessons that you learned in that crash? I'll tell you, like for me, boy, labor got cheap and widely available.
Oh yeah, it did.
It was crazy. There's, I don't know how you feel, but there, if that ever happened again, how would you be better prepared for a crisis like that?
Yeah, labor was definitely, you could find anybody to work, and it was definitely cheaper. It was good times to start a business right after the crash. There's a guy I know named Tommy Mello. He owns A1 Garage. And he started about that time right after, and he just started taking off with his company. Of course, he's doing great today. But I think one of the biggest things with labor is it's not getting any cheaper today, especially if you got W-2 employees compared to subcontractors. It's not getting any cheaper, and the cost of having somebody employed with the benefits going up, like for us with health insurance and matching the 401k and taxes and all that. So you just got to plan for it and make sure that your prices are dialed in right, that you're making money. You're not just people employed, and you're not trying to grow your business or get ahead in business, because it can be scary times if you don't know your numbers. Back to the beginning of what I said.
Back to the know your numbers. Yeah. And that's a great point. I feel like a lot of companies, when they start off, they price their jobs arbitrarily. They say, well, so-and-so down the street selling at this. Well, what kind of advice would you give to that person?
That's exactly what normally happens in the market, and my sales team will say that to me some days. They'll say, hey, so-and-so's priced this job for this amount, but so-and-so works out of their house. We have actually an operation. We have benefits. We have our rat trucks. We have insurance for everything. So if you compare yourself to somebody else, then you're definitely going to be in a hole in it. You're going to be racing to the bottom. You're going to run out of cash. It's going to be where you can't pay your material bill one day because, you don't have enough cash in the bank, and then you're not going to be able to pay your payroll. And then you're going to have everybody mad at you. And then what else you do? So you just close the doors. So you definitely have to not follow. You have to have your numbers and follow what's making you profit, where you need to be with your margins, for sure.
That's something that I love to hear, because it's the same thing that I talk about a lot also, and it's, you kind of have to price your jobs backwards. right?
Mhm.
You're going in, you got to go in with your cost first, and not just what's the minimal cost to do this, right? You talked about with your numbers, knowing your gross profit, your net profit, but also knowing your marketing spend, knowing what your contributions to that 401k are going to be, knowing what health insurance is going to be. And
Yep.
now as you're building out your numbers and then dropping in your gross profit and net profit on top of that, really understanding your numbers, where should someone start? Like, man, I don't know my numbers at
Yeah.
all. Where should I start?
When you reverse that, you definitely have to, anytime you design something, you got to have end game in mind. Like for me, I have my end game. I have my 5-10 year plan where I want to be in 5 and 10 years. And I know that's big dreamers, but you have to have that big dream and say, hey, in 10 years, this is what I want to accomplish, and work backwards and say, hey, if I want to make 100 grand a year, 200 grand a year, got to figure out how many jobs do I have to do? How much is it going to cost me to get that job per job? How much does that lead cost? And your conversion ratio, and just work backwards. You got to have your average ticket, your conversion ratio, your booking rate. And then, you need to make sure that what you're spending on your ads is enough to get you to that number. So you kind of got to reverse it by that. And it's really not that hard once you do it, know it enough times, you've got it dialed in. It's just somebody at the beginning, though. I mean, it's difficult. Years ago when I learned that, I was like, wow, I wish somebody would have told me that years ago. In 1996, I wish I would have knew that.
Yeah.
So
we don't get all those lessons right away. Some of them are harder learned.
and some people don't get them at all because they're never around the right people. And that goes back to being around the right people. That's another big thing. I was just at Tommy Bellott's conference last week at Home Service Freedom.
Yeah.
Spent time there with some quality people, and then it was just great. I mean, being around the right people makes a huge difference.
I know you had talked about that, and I've had Tommy on the podcast a couple times, and he's a phenomenal business owner, but you never. It's not like you were even in the room with him. Like, it wasn't that he was your mentor, but he was a mentor from afar. That we're in this wonderful age of YouTube and podcasts and all these things, and people are sharing so much information. It seems like you don't even have to be in the same room, but you could still find good mentors out there. How has that journey been for you? Where did you find, how'd you come across Tommy, and how'd you come across other people who else do you follow that you've gotten some good, good advice from, or good business, essentially coaching from afar?
Coaching from afar. So,
Yeah.
So since I've had Bluewater at my old company, I learned that I needed to network, and that's where I really learned it. And I was good at networking. I'd go to the conferences and the international builder show, and then I'd get a group of people and I learned from them whatever industry we were doing. But in 21, I went to a conference called GutterCon. It was a gutter convention, first one in Denver, and that's where I met Tommy. I actually met my other buddy from Minnesota, Corey. He's got Bain and Home Pros in Minnesota, Brainerd, does rim fin windows, gutters. But he's a great guy. But anyway, I met him first. He said, "Come over to the table and sit with me and Tommy." And I went over and sat down. And the first thing I thought of Tommy, I was like, "This guy's cocky. Who is this guy?" I didn't know what kind of numbers he was doing, or I didn't know anything about him. I was like, he's kind of annoying at first. I was like, he's probably making all this crap up. That's what I first thought. And then after I got to know him and got to be around him more, I was like, this guy knows his stuff. He's not cocky. He's just confident. He understands business. And he's actually got a pretty good heart. So anyway, I started following him, but Corey kind of got me into that realm. And believe it or not, with our business, the growth in the last couple of years, it has to do with me listening a lot of what Tommy does and follow his principles and practices, and listening to Al Levy that got him kicked off, and then listening to Ryan at Chirp, because we're on Chirp, and just some different things that And I honestly follow most of what Tommy does just because I know it works, and it does work. It works for us as well. So why not invent the wheel? Why not just copy? So we follow that. But you got to get around the right people, and you got to get around the right podcasts and listen to the right podcasts to get the right information. There's a lot of podcasts that will give you stuff that's really way off in left field that you don't need to know about. Quality podcasts are very important.
Yeah, definitely. I'll say that I think we're one of those quality podcasts, Jimmy. Thanks for the plug.
Exactly. You're 100% on. So that makes a difference because there's so much information now that you can or listen to anything, and then you'll just get confused. So you got to pick maybe 3 to 5 different people and just stick with them. And that's what's most important. I follow Tommy. I follow Bradley. I was actually on Bradley's podcast Friday in Las Vegas, so that's going to be coming out. So he's really hammered. But he got me a little different than what I expected. He was more like a therapist in this podcast. I was like, that's not what I wanted, Brad, but it's turned out well. So
that's awesome. You have all in-house employees. I want to talk about that for a little bit. This business is built on subcontracting, right? Did you ever do in the early days, did you have subcontractors? Has it always been in-house? And what's the mindset about that, that keeps you focused on the in-house team? Before we carry on with the episode, let's give a shout out to one of our sponsors. I talk to contractors every day that feel stuck. Not because they're not working hard, but because they're missing the structure to growth without chaos. Or their culture's falling apart because their team's unclear, unaligned, or just burned out. And when change hits, they're reacting instead of leading because time and priorities aren't under their control. Day 41 Thrive helps to fix that with proven strategies for growth, culture, and leadership that actually work. Ready to thrive beyond the storm? Visit the link in the description or visit the Roofing Success Podcast website on the sponsors page to start your journey today. And what's the mindset about that that keeps you focused on the in-house team?
The in-house team, to me, you can manage better because you can handle training. Training's a big part today. The younger generations growing up, they need all the training they can get. Maybe the mom and dad didn't teach them how to do carpentry or construction or whatnot. So training is huge. You can get better training. You seem to get better employees, but it takes longer. You got to be more patient. Subs, you can say, hey, I'm going to sell this job. I'll make this money. Here's my subcontract pay. Here's my material on the job. And then the leftover belongs to me. And that's just simple like that. But to get a good name and keep your Google reviews up and and a lot of people might disagree with me on this subject, but I just think the W-2 way is the right way to go. For me personally, and it is harder. And I would love to, when we're super busy and our capacity is weighing up, I would love to be able to sub that out and go ahead and get those customers closed out faster to give them a better customer experience. But then again, you go hire somebody and you got this guy that leaves either, the project undone, or there's leaks, or there's problems, or they mess somebody's yard up or tore something up. And our guys are they're dialed in. They're out for the same success as everybody in Bluewater. They want to see what's best for the company. They're not just getting a paycheck. And that's what makes a difference when you get that mindset where they're all rowing the boat the same way. It makes a difference.
So that doesn't always happen with employees too, right? So you've had to put some work into that, I assume. What have the things that you've done along the way been that have gotten the right people rowing in the same direction?
Yeah, that's actually the number one thing for culture in business is you want to get the right people. That's the secret. We're not in the products business. Whatever we install or put on, we're in the people business. If you've got W-2 employees, you got to be able to be a good leader to them. You got to be able to make sure that they're taken care of as far as financially, that that they're, they're getting their bills paid. They're working to get extra, like, hey, buy a boat, small boat, or buy, this motorcycle if they really want it. Don't just, hey, I'm weekly paycheck. That's all I got just to pay my house payment and my food. So you got to kind of make sure that your people are succeeding, because if your people aren't succeeding, then your company and your customers are not going to succeed. So we really strive to make sure that we pay better than anybody else in our area. That's one thing. We offer benefits. That's another thing we do. We have employee and company get-togethers and cookouts, and, we do Christmas stuff together, and just all that different things. You got to keep the culture together when you have W-2 employees. But you just got to really be a good leader to them and make sure, if they're not doing good, you gotta talk to them in private about that. But if they're doing the good, you gotta praise in public, So there's just so much more to that. And most people don't want to do that because it's a lot harder. It's just easy to go, like I say, close that job, hire that sub, get done. But you're not building a company, you're building a lifestyle business that can go out and run out, especially in the roofing industry. It's what PE companies are so strong on that right now. I got a bunch of friends that just started up just to sell to the PE, and they're like, 5 years I'm out. And so that's a whole topic that could go on. That PE
for sure. We could definitely talk about that. Tell me a story of one of the most challenging times you had with a team member, or what as you were building the team out, because it goes either way, right? You can have the subs that tear up the yard and things like that, but then you also, with the internal team, and then how'd you overcome that, or what did you learn from that?
Challenging team members, it can happen at times to anybody. In life, what I think a lot of people, no matter if you're the business owner or if you're the managers or whatever, but you can go through life and have your ups and downs. I mean, you might be more motivated. I might be more motivated in spring and fall and less in summer, and everybody does it. There's nobody that's 100% motivated all the time. If they are, they're telling you a story. So you got to find out when you see some of your team members struggling. You got to kind of step in and say, "Hey, man, is there something at home? Is there something I can help you with? Is there something at home going on? What do you need from me?" And if you got that management team in place that can do that, you can help slow that down. But there's still going to be some teammates that'll get off on the deep end, and they're too far gone, and you can't bring them back. I mean, our turnover rate is small, but it's under probably 15%, but we still have some, some industry averages are 30-40%. But we try our best to try to keep it down pretty low. And that comes into really caring about the people and making sure that you're giving them everything as far as the training, as far as everything possible you can do. But I've had some odd things. I've had over 200 something employees, 250 in my lifetime of my company. And I'll tell you, I've had them steal from me, lie, cheat. I've had some bad stuff go on. I've had them break stuff. I've had them, do side jobs. I've had them, anything you can think of, I've actually had done to me. Wow. And the biggest thing with that, I would say, for any business owner, entrepreneur, is you can't let that get you down. You just got to keep going. That's just that one person. If they act up, and that's on them, that has nothing to do with you. You just keep moving on and looking down the road, because there is quality people out there that really want to give their all and want to work for somebody that really appreciates them. So that's what I say. There's two stories that you could tell yourself there, right? When you have somebody steal from you, you could be like, man, it's all over. I'm never hiring anyone again.
I'm never going to allow myself to have that happen. Or you hire the next person who doesn't steal from you. And you keep this thing going and you keep moving forward, but it's very easy to tell either of those stories, right?
Yeah.
Man, that was just one person. I made a bad decision. I was trying to help someone out and they got me. Or, this is it. That everyone is like that. The whole world is like that. The whole world is against me, and I'm going to just do this myself, and I'm going to struggle even more because of that. And I'll have the struggles that come with that, right? What are some of? Yeah, go ahead.
That's your mindset, and that's making sure if you're staying in that negative mindset all the time, and you're gonna. Something bad is always going to happen to you. If you can get out of that and get in that positive mindset, you're going to have bad stuff that say, hey, that happened because it opened the door for so-and-so to come to work here or this and that. So you got to keep in a business mindset. You got to keep it positive or it'll ruin you. It'll ruin you.
That's for sure. It's tough sometimes though. That homeowner, is unhappy. Someone screwed up, money's coming out of your pocket for this, reputation is on the line over there. It was a referral from someone important to you. It's, boy, this isn't an easy thing, but why do you keep doing it, Jimmy? You just keep doing it. I know you're enjoying the episode, but let's give a shout out to another one of our sponsors. As a roofing marketing agency owner and coach, I've seen it all. Great marketing wasted because no one follows up fast enough. That's why I built Power Up Agents, not just a receptionist. Our AI handles the entire customer journey, from answering the first call to booking the job to post-job surveys and reviews. 24/7, inbound, outbound, even multilingual. If you want leads followed up instantly and customers nurtured automatically, visit the link in the description or visit the sponsors page on the Roofing Success Podcast website. Your full AI team is ready. Boy, this isn't an easy thing, but why do you keep doing it, Jimmy? You just keep doing it.
Once you do it enough, you kind of get a little numb of the smaller stuff, and you really appreciate the good stuff that happens, and you get to see your team, the succeeding, and all your people that work with you. You see them succeed, and you see them grow, and you see somebody that used to be in this position that really grow in this position. And that's something cool. And you're building your economy of your people inside your company, and everybody's making a living off the vision that somebody had, and that's cool too. That's really what
that is definitely. When did that realization come to you? Because I talk about this a lot, where or often, and it's just my thought that, like, when we start off, we're just starting off to pay our bills, right, to make a good living, and then you get to this place, and you may have been there a couple of times, because pre-crash and post crash, like, where all of a sudden it's like, man, I have enough, like, I'm doing well. And then for a lot of people, a lot of guests that I've had on this podcast, that changes, and it's like, well, how can I pass this on? How can I, when did that change for you, or what changed that made you think, man, this isn't just me anymore. My day-to-day is more centered around what I could do for my team or the community, or however that is for you.
Well, it's a lot easier mindset to have when you got a good team. We got a good leadership team under me, and we all go in our meetings weekly, and we figure stuff out together. If you're the only one, and you don't know the difference, and you're just fighting the fires day to day, and you're trying to do everything, wear all these different hats, it's not as fun, honestly. And you can't think. You can't get out of your business enough to think how can I make this better for everybody? Because you're fighting fires and you're picking up checks and somebody's not paying you your material bills or whatever. But so I think you have to get to a certain level to really understand what that means. And is that something you want to go to? Do you really want to grow a company that's going to get bigger, have more people, have more options for stress? You might lose your hair faster with more people. If you got 50 people compared to if you got 5 people, that's a big difference. But I say mine happened about 3 to 5 years ago when I started really building my team out and really saying, hey, this is what I want to do. Here's my exit plan. Here's my end game. Here's my 10-year plan. And I reversed engineering and I started working backwards. And that's kind of, you can't just go in there blind. If you want a lifestyle business, they'll eventually get you. I mean, you might get by with 10 or 20 years, maybe if you're lucky, if you're good at being a technician and being able to install your products. But as far as a lifestyle business, really, it's just not especially in with AI, the coming years. You better know everything because AI is coming in fast.
Yeah. And I think with the lifestyle business aspect, another challenge to that, and you'd mentioned it earlier, is the PE. PE firms are, they're coming in hard they're coming in to take market share, and so your lifestyle business may be a not as good of a lifestyle as you were hoping for it to be, right?
Yeah, that's tough too. It is sad because America's built on the American dream, and everybody's starting a business and want to be able to, hey, I just want to support my family, and that's where my dad and my granddad started. Is that, hey, I just want to have a lifestyle business to support my family. I kind of know it's going the other direction, so I definitely want to make sure I'm following suit and trying to grow it and build as much technology into our company as we can, because that's going to help us succeed. Because if you still could have a mom and pop 5-10 years from now and do some jobs, but it's going to get harder. I'm afraid it's going to get harder for everybody. So what technology are you focused on adding? What are you, what technology has been the most, has created the most impact? Let's start there. What technology have you added to Bluewater that has added the most value? So our CRM, number one, has been the best. We added that about 3 years ago, Service Titan, and that's something I got from Tommy and Corey up in Minnesota. He used to Service Titan. We jumped on that. The first year, everybody here wanted to kill me because they're like, this is too hard. And we were a smaller company, so to jump on a product like Service Titan for our size company was a little hard. But now we're getting it dialed in, and it does pretty much everything we want. So CRM was number one, and that helps efficiency and reporting and all the good stuff that you need to know when you're running a company. And then we're working with Chirp to do some automated different messages when we get our material in. It keeps in contact with the customer. So our biggest downfall was our communication with our customer in the last 5 years. So I said, we got to fix our customer communication problem. So, we might go 6 weeks and not be able to do an install for a customer. So they need to know what's going on in that 6 weeks. Since they get 50% deposit, they need to know, is our money gone? Has Jimmy left the country? So we started this campaign of kind of letting them know the material's in, we're getting closer to scheduling. Our material was ordered, our material was measured, whatever it is, we've got these different programs that's tied in. So it's just automated out. So it helps dial that customer in. Just like when you go to Domino's and you order a pizza and it tells you when it's coming to your house, you can follow the whole thing on your phone. So that's been real big. AI, we have answering service, AI after hours and weekends, AI answers to try to catch that lead just so they don't just hang up and go somewhere else instead of a voicemail. Nobody leaves messages. We've got some new things. I'm really trying to build our website out so we can quote everything possible online. So we can go ahead, if the customer's at 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday night and they're wanting to buy a product like gutters or whatever, they can go on there, and they can fill this out. They think, oh, here's the price. Oh, it's going to cost $3,500. I get to pick what options I want. Here it is. Let me go ahead and pay my deposit and get on schedule. We can have it done in a week. After the measure tech comes out, checks color, blah, blah, blah. So that's where I think everybody's mindset is going to that Amazon mentality. They're Amazon, you can just get it right away. Nobody wants to wait 2 months on anything anymore. So,
boy, Amazon changed things, right? Like, oh my goodness, and they worked really hard on that. It's amazing what you could get anything you want. There's reviews on everything. There's, the pricing is right there. Marcus Sheridan talks about this a lot. If you follow Marcus Sheridan, I had him on the podcast, not long ago with his book. They Ask You Answer, and then Endless Customers is more what he talks about. And it's the transparent pricing. And so that's where the puck is going. So start skating there, boy, because that's going to change really fast. The thing that I heard in a lot of the implementation of technology that you have is customer communication has been a big impact.
Huge.
Right. How did you design, or how have you been designing your communication with your customers over the years? Like, what have you found to be kind of the best cadence or rhythm? When should customers be communicated with? From even, as they're, on that appointment set all the way through. Like, how have you guys thought about that? What are some of the most impactful conversations, or even if it's a text message or whatever it is? Like, where are you finding the most value in the customer journey there?
So the program Chirp that ties into our Service Titan does most all of that. I don't know all of the backbones of that, but the director handles that. But I think the customer journey is so important these days that you have to stay in contact with them. If you take their money on the sales guy getting out there and closing that deal and take their money, and then they don't hear from you until the day before the install, it's the worst customer experience possible. And we used to be those guys years ago. And so I think, you start with, hey, we've got your deposit. Thank you for being a customer. We're working on sending a video out on that. We haven't got that dialed in yet. We're chirping video, and it'll be me talking, explaining if you ever got any problems, you need me, pick up phone call. Here's my cell number. I'll give you my cell number. I'm the owner, but I'm not scared to talk to you. Start out with that. Go ahead and build some more trust before, and then say, hey, our operations manager is going to be ordering the material. We'll let you know when it gets in, or we're coming to measure, or whatever the process. So I honestly think, probably 5 to 7 times in that whole journey is, I don't think anybody's going to complain that you're letting them know what's going on in the process. If somebody complains, they're probably not a good customer, and you probably want to kick them out and don't do any more business with them. It's probably what you.
That's right. Especially there's pre-sale and post-sale communication, right? And I think, I don't know if you can over communicate in post-sale, right? Pre-sale, you might be able to over communicate, right? Like there may be an opportunity to over communicate there, But I have a friend that is in the real estate investing industry, and he sends ginormous amounts of emails. And I had lunch with him. This was back in like 2009. I had lunch with him 2010. I was like, my goodness, I get like 4 or 5 emails a day from you. And I'm like, you don't think that's too much? You're not, he said, if people aren't unsubscribing, I'm not sending enough emails.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we always take this mindset of, well, we don't want to bother people. I promise you don't have data on if you're bothering people until they're saying stop.
Stop. Yep.
Right? Like, until people are telling you on a regular basis, please stop, and not just that outlier, right? Not just that one noisy person out of 100 or 1,000 that, that's telling you that's too much. when 10, 15 out of that 100 start telling you, all right, okay, maybe we'll dial it back a little bit. But I would personally go to the point of communication that when people say stop, right, that on the front end. And then how good does it feel to get communicated with when you are a customer?
Oh, that's amazing. We get a lot of Google reviews where they'll say they communicated the whole process to us. Google, that's great for Google to see that. Then our future customers that are looking to purchase our products see that. So that's a good thing. And everybody gets buyer's remorse. So if you go spend $1,000 on a product and you paid 50% down, you paid $10,000 down, you might be like, oh, I could have paid off college or whatever, and they're like, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. So the quicker you respond and let them feel comfortable that they made the right decision too, the less chances you're gonna have somebody want their money back as well. That's
I have if you have done any amount of contract or hired any amount of contractors for your personal home, or maybe you have some rental properties or something like that, you have written that deposit check.
Yep.
And sat there wondering what the heck is going on, right? Like that's a scary time.
It is.
It's a scary time. You write a $10,000 check to someone, and most people, that's a almost for anyone, that's a lot of money. I know you're enjoying the episode, but let's give a shout out to another one of our sponsors.
Stop going at it alone, because growing a roofing company today is not what it was like even 3 years ago. Not with the economy, not with private equity, not with AI taking over the world, and let's not forget insurance rewriting the rules. Join the community of roofers who don't really like roofers. We share our winning secrets to help each other dominate in today's fast-changing and unpredictable times. Click the link in the description to apply to join.
Almost for anyone, that's a lot of money.
It is. So the more you can stay in contact with them, I think that's better.
Yeah,
better for your company. So that's something that a lot of people, you can't do that if you're a one-man show and you're out giving quotes. And you can,
right.
But it's going to be a lot harder.
It's harder.
So automations, anybody needs to figure out these automations and get them down.
Yeah. Automations for the small, as you're getting started till you're in the 8 figures and above, like a lot of this can be automated. The technology is there. When did you implement the AI answering? How long have you had that implemented for?
I think it's almost about a year now. We had we brought down about a year, and we thought it was going to be a little early. We just wanted to try it out and see what kind of response. And I think the first couple months we were getting leads on weekends. Thankfully, we were locking them down instead of them calling and us trying to talk back Monday morning. And then they've already got somebody else, and they're like, "Oh, we don't need you now, thank you." So I think that was about a year ago. It's worked pretty well. It's not perfect. AI is not perfect yet, but it's better than nothing. So if your leads cost $100, $125 a lead, and you can get 4 or 5 on a weekend for that answering service, that AI, it's a no-brainer, So, and then it ties into, and I don't know about all this, I'm a marketing director, but it ties into Google if you're open 24/7, and that if you don't answer, Google will shut you down or they'll put you lower. All that, because you got to answer your phone with AI to automatically answer, so we're not going to miss a call.
That's right.
So Google's going to bump you up a little bit more.
Yeah, that's in the Google Local Services ads. So, your response time in the Google Local Services ads is something that they are using as a ranking factor. So making sure that phone's answered, that's a big deal. We covered a lot here. What other things do you see on the horizon for PE? You said you're starting to see people now that are just, hey, I'm starting this company to build, to exit. that's a different thing, right? All these things come in waves. So all these PE cycles and things like that come in waves. We may be in the peak of it now. We may be in the middle of it. We may be at the beginning of it. We don't really know exactly, but what other thoughts or what else are you seeing around that side of things?
Yeah, being at Tommy's a bit, Cristiano through Rhino, they do our marketing, school of our marketing.
Yep.
Yeah, they've got a human chat, a bunch of business called Redbird Riffs.
Redbird, yep.
Yeah, and I think that's in Illinois. Then I think sports, yeah.
Indiana.
And then, so these guys, their main goal is to get 3 to 5 years, build it up, and with your average ticket being 15 or 20 grand, and then a PE company coming in and giving you a multiple of 7 or 8 for roofing, and then it's just a short-term money grab, kind of like investing in a stock market, but a little different ways than business. But I think that's going to probably be here to stay for the next 20 years. Especially in the blue collar era. I think we've got it made in the blue collar guys because a lot of AI's taking a lot of like the lawyers and a lot of these jobs they're taking. They can't take our jobs because we need to, they need labor guys to go in and install these products on these homes. So we're actually going to be the new white collar, and some of these other guys are going to go down to the blue, and we're going to be the ones that are going to be making the books. The labor guys like us. But I think it's here to stay. I think it's just going to get more sophisticated, and I just think people are just going to have to jump on it and learn how to learn technology. And I'm going to be 50 in January, and I'm having to learn more technology than I ever thought I'd have to learn. I wanted to just simplify. I know how to use my phone and all that, and I was like, I just want to use my phone. I don't even want a phone. And 5 years from now, I was going to give it to my wife. And she don't keep it. So,
yeah, that's one of the things is you got to keep up with the technology. If you're not doing things with AI, some of the first places you could start is just start with ChatGPT and learn how to write a prompt. I have a great episode with Jonathan Mast, who we talk about that in the perfect prompt. Jonathan's an AI expert, and just learning how to communicate with it. Right. Learning how to use it, learning where it can be used. Can it be used in voice? Can it be used in, how are we doing this? We're having a lot of conversations around that in the RSRA, because there's what it can do and what it can't do yet. Right. And there's a lot of things it can't do yet, but boy, you better learn what it can do now, so that when it can do the other things, you're already there, leading the pack a little bit. It's a lot of, it's moving fast.
Yeah.
Moving really, really fast.
At this conference last week, Kevin O'Leary was there speaking, and I think that was Thursday morning, and he was talking about AI, and he's actually using it a lot. He says that he can build a commercial in Dubai cheaper than they could produce one here, and it's all AI related. They got the green screens on the back and all that. So he flies to Dubai, and he said it's 20 30 grand, which here it costs 80 or 150 after he flies people and everything. So anyway, he had this one video he showed us on the screening where him and AI is so close to his voice now. Now the video looks fine. The video's been fine on AI, but the voice is where it's been the problem. So he had this video where the voice was so close, and he said he's flying back to Dubai in 2 weeks, and he's going to record a whole 3,000 word script. And he said AI's voice is going to be exact to mine, and then I can post constantly on social media or whatever I want to do, and I don't have to. And then it's going to be a whole lot cheaper and more efficient, and that's what everybody's doing as well. And I'm actually trying to learn that too, so we can get that going.
Yeah, it's like it's almost an arbitrage of your time, right? It's it's pretty crazy. I have I coach in a digital marketing agency group, and so I'm around a lot of digital marketing agency owners, and one of them just did a full commercial in Google's video AI, and it was phenomenal. And I was like, boy, this is crazy. That was one of the, I heard a comment on some podcast recently. They're like, yeah, Hollywood's in trouble. It's like, Hollywood's in trouble. Yeah, Hollywood's in trouble because a lot of these things that the AI is getting so good at video and voice and things like that, that it's, that's going to be a big challenge, big challenge.
He said he showed me a movie that they'd already made, an all AI movie. He put it on the screen. I don't remember the name of it. And then he showed me this band, or he showed everybody this band. And this band made it to the top 5. And they were all AI band. It wasn't even real. So they're coming up. So there's nobody they have to pay these royalties to besides whoever designed it. So one day we're going to be listening to bands that are not even real, because we like that kind of music, whether it's ZZ Top or whether it's Metallica or whoever because they're going to build AI bands to match what we like. That's right. It's getting wild.
Yeah, it's Google Flow is the platform that he built that on. It's in Google Labs. It's an AI filmmaking tool. But yeah, I've seen that too with the music too. The same thing. Like, whoa, that's something. So there's a lot of things coming. But then, what impact does that have on our businesses? How can we utilize it? Right? If it took, a lot of companies struggle with making social media content. Mm-hmm. Boy, a lot of them, right? Sure. But if you could, create a more efficient process for that through using AI, like if it can use your voice and do voiceovers and do it in your tone, but you have to feed it the right information for it to feed it, to have a good output. I come from the software development side of things. I'm a terrible programmer, but I did it years and years and years ago. And, it's still garbage in, garbage out, so you got to learn that the goal is to learn what the right input is, right? What the right inputs that you can have. What are some of the things you're most proud of in Bluewater's journey so far, or your own personal journey?
Oh, wow. Probably the top things I'm proud of is my team. Just proud of my team, and it's hard to have a good team these days. I hear other friends that it's hard to have good people on your team, but I'm proud of my team. I'm proud that we have a good name, and our Google reviews are strong at 625-ish right now on 8 years. That's pretty good. We started the last 3 or 4 years really trying to get to Google reviews. The first couple years, we didn't really know. We didn't try. So I'm proud that we've got great customers. We got a 10,000 base, roughly 10,000, I guess, customer base. That's pretty strong too. We've won some awards the last, 5 years. We've won the best gutter service here in our area. We've won the best screen service last 4 years or 3 years. We won the best window installation team this last year. I'm proud of that. Years ago, when I had the other company called B&B, my granddad's company I bought from him, I saw the magazine Qualified Remodeler Top 500, and I used to look for it. And I'm like, man, this is in 2004. I remember the exact year. And I said, I want to be in that magazine one day. I want to be in the top 500. I want to get there. And a couple of years ago, that's on my wall here. I think it was 2 years ago, we were 492. So we made it in the top 500.
You made it. You made it. Yeah.
So that, to me, that was a big thing for me. For other people in the company, they could care less. But I remember looking at that magazine in 2004 saying, I want to be in there one day. And to be able to get that and get that plaque and be in that magazine and see Bluewater Exteriors, that was a proud moment for me that probably to other people it wasn't a big deal, but to me it was huge. And knowing that, hey, I said I wanted to do something and I made it happen. And or everybody here made it happen. It wasn't me. to make it happen. That was cool.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. What if you could give advice to a contractor, starting out or trying to build something sustainable and a really trying to build a really great company, what would that advice be?
Dream big. You got to dream big. If you just say, "Hey, I want to start a business just to have some extra money, a little side," dream big. You got to give 110% into. After you dream big and build your plan and reverse engineer what you want to do, you have to give 110%. Everybody thinks that all these people are overnight successes. I mean, I've been doing this. If you take if you took the 5 years of law enforcement out and 13, 35, 37, so 32 years I've been doing this. And I'm still just growing every day and trying to get better at what I do. I mean, 32 years of it, you think I'd be retired by now, but I'm not. And I'm not going to retire. So you just got to put in the work. I mean, if you look at people on social media and you'll see all these people that act like they're making all this money, don't believe that hype. Just put your head down, work hard, stay committed, and just be honest and have integrity. I mean, that's what it's about, especially in our line of work, construction. People trust the contractors less, the homeowners do. So have that integrity and go out. If you did something wrong, fix it. So just keep after it. I mean, there's so many different things I could say. I could talk for 2 hours.
So many.
But really and truly, you got to dream big. If you dream small, that's where you're going to land. If you dream big and don't make it to there and you only make it half, you've done great. So you got to dream big.
Awesome, man. Jimmy, thanks for your time today. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast.
Thank you for tuning into the Roofing Success Podcast. For more valuable content, visit roofingsuccesspodcast.com. While there, check out our sponsors for exclusive offers, shop for merchandise, and sign up for our newsletter for industry updates and tips. Also, join the Roofing Success Facebook group to connect with other professionals and stay updated on the latest trends. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Your support helps us continue to bring you top industry insights. The website link is in the description. Thanks for listening.